Hello, welcome to the special Arcade Couch podcast where we're going to be talking about our top 3 and number 1 game of 2023 as decided by ExplosionNetwork.com. My name's John Black. Joining me, Ashley Hubley.
I mean, saying we're going to talk about the top 1 is redundant when we said we're going to talk about the top 3.
Hey, good for you. Also here, Kira March.
Give me a second. Persuasion roll. Hey Dylan, I think you should play the number 1 game with us sometime on stream.
Spoilers. Also, did you actually just turn around and get a die, or did you attempt
I sure
to find
did.
one?
No, I sure did.
What did you roll?
Oh, I rolled
What did
a
you actually
1.
Okay.
That looked like a D6. Was that a D6?
No, it was a D12. It was
Oh.
whatever I grabbed first. Yeah.
I was like, is he actually just turning around for effect, or did he actually get the
No,
dice?
I got one. They're in reach.
Very nice. All right, before we get to our top 3, and in case you can't guess it, spending time talking about Baldur's Gate, let's run through the other 7. So at number 10 on our list, if you haven't seen it already, of course, it's up on ExplosionNetwork.com. Number 10, Wild Hearts. Number 9, Street Fighter 6. Number 8, Diablo 4. Number 7, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Number 6, Liza P. Number 5, Dave the Diver.
Woo.
Number 4, Star
Yeah.
Wars Jedi Survivor. Number 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Ash, do you feel weird that this game and is that number 3, or you're pretty comfortable with number 3?
No, I'm pretty comfortable with it being at number 3. You know, it's been a good year for video game releases. A lot of quality games came out in 2023.
Quality games.
Quality games. Yeah, so you know, this PlayStation exclusive being at number 3, you know, it's very good. Obviously, we all played it, we all enjoyed it, and Sony made a bunch of money. So,
What more do you
so
want?
much so we're going to get more Marvel games, probably.
I was going to say, I feel like this is how the MCU started, and we're at a certain point.
We
with
all
the
loved
MCU.
Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
So let's keep
Love
making
Iron Man.
more of these movies like Iron Man. And then we're like 100. But, you know, to be fair, Marvel games have been releasing a bunch of really good games across the board the last few years. Like, a lot of their releases have been in our top lists.
Yeah, they usually are.
You know,
What have they
Marvel.
put out usually?
Well, obviously, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Midnight Suns, Guardians of the Galaxy. All really good games.
You're overlooking.
I mean,
one
there
though.
is one that
There
you
is
know,
one real big one you are overlooking currently that might take some of the
that didn't pan out the way everybody hoped it would, but 5 out of 6 ain't bad.
One of them was the one. Sorry, the one you was probably the biggest out of all of them, or wanted to be the biggest out of all of them, and failed
Sometimes-
very hard.
You know, but we enjoyed elements of it. You know,
My God,
You know.
you Marvel apologist.
it wasn't like it was Lord of the Rings Gollum, you know, or the day before. It had a good, solid life. Rest in peace, Marvel's Avengers.
I mean, Marvel's Avengers isn't even played anymore. At least you can play.
No, I'm pretty sure you can still play it.
You can't buy it.
You can't buy it anymore.
No. You can't buy it anymore, but you can still play it.
If you own it.
By
Yeah, what if I-
yourself.
what if I
don't think
wanna
there's-
own it?
I don't
What
think
if I
there's
wanna play it?
servers.
I'm pretty sure you can just go to a store and buy the physical copy. I'm sure there are lots.
What are you
Head
talking
on
about?
over to your local secondhand retailer. But yeah, Marvel Spider-Man 2, really good. Really great story. Fun, you know, reimagining of both Kraven's Last Hunt and also the Birth of Venom. As a long-time comic fan. Like, it was really enjoyable.
Yeah, do you
to
have
see.
any more overall thoughts on the story, Kieran, for this one? Because me and Ash have spoke about it quite a bit, obviously on Platinum Explosion.
I think for the story for Marvel Spider-Man, Peter's story never hit in terms of the same way it hit for me throughout the original Spider-Man. There was no moment at all like Aunt May. Like there was no moment like that for me in Peter's storyline.
Kill MJ. Kill MJ.
Look, I
Give
was
him some more trauma.
You know, you did get sad when you saw Aunt May again? The exact same scene again, play out again?
I just think, I don't think Peter's storyline was as good. I think Miles dealing with Martin Lee's, like his connection with Martin Lee, was great. I think they fumbled with Craven towards the end. I don't think Craven was as interesting, as well as the side quest that was related to Craven. I thought was very much a fumble. But on top of that, I loved the cult storyline. I loved how that played out, and like the fact that the twist at the end of that, or who you were dealing with at the end of it, kind of was like, wait, this twist is here, and like that twist was better than some of the storyline, like some of the story beats. I just think it was not quite as good as what it could have been with the elements of play, which is very, I don't know. I keep seeing everybody who seems to use Venom seems to fumble the bag a little bit, like when they should have an amazing storyline really off the bat. I think the introduction of the amount of symbiotes was like, whoa, holy fuck, okay, we are escalating this very quickly and very rapidly. It's kind of what we're dealing with. Which just, I don't know, maybe pulled the carpet from under their feet a little bit too quickly. I wasn't the biggest fan of the story in terms of comparing it to the previous iteration or other narratives and stories we got this year.
Tell me something you like about it.
I love the thing is, I love the gameplay. I loved Miles in general. I loved anything to do with Miles. I think a lot of the costumes were absolutely amazing this time around. Getting to try out and play with different versions of them. With that on top of a lot of the side missions and the traversal of the game. I platinumed this game, so there has to be something I fucking loved about this game, right? Like I platinumed it. I feel like I am being very hard on it, but I think there is a very much a reason. I like, as you asked Ashley, like I think this game should be number 4 realistically in the list of best games of this year. I think it is, and there is a fair gap between this game and the other 3 I have ahead of it, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I mean, I agree. I think the game's good. I think it's I think if Ash wasn't part of the voting, it would be a little bit lower. But
Yes.
it is pure math. We all play Spider-Man because it's a fantastic game, and thus it got higher on the
Jacob
list.
Also voted. I know he really, really likes it. It's just not so. I'd put it a little bit lower. Obviously, it's a little bit lower. But
Kieran, don't be bitter because nobody played the Nintendo Switch game. Okay, you can't be helped.
You mean the game that seemed to be like kind of across the community locked in to be game of the year in like fucking May?
Yep, that's the one.
that one. Sure.
Starfield, yes.
It's Starfield, right?
I already set it up as the Nintendo Switch game, so it did make sense.
All right, kick us off, Dylan, with number 2, Final Fantasy.
Number
16.
2 is indeed not Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 is not. Actually, no, it is on one of our lists. It's in our it's in the music category, right? Which is fair. That's totally fair. The music is really good. I haven't nominated it for that, so there you go. Alan Wake 2. A game in which this, I mean, look, the easiest way to describe this game is that this is what happens when a studio gets full control of their property back, gets their time necessary to actually plan out a vision, and then gets to create the vision without any interjection from higher ups or other parties being involved or whatever else. Because this is the most Remedy ass game that Remedy could make. Is the way I'd describe Alan Wake 2. It is like there's no. I just feel like it's just all in on everything they sort of want to do and want to make. And
I'll just interject and say there are many cases of studios getting their property back and doing their own thing and then being terrible. So, it is more Remedy specifically, them being able to do this rather than that being the rule in general.
That's the rule in general. Just saying, like, that's the story of this game. They got the game back. They got their property back, and they got no one interjecting now, and they went out and they made this game. So, it is a survival horror game. It's a detective game. You literally enter a mind palace at times. You put little pin notes on a chalkboard and stuff like that. So it's got all those elements. It's dark. It is weirdly funny. If you've ever watched Finnish or in general, just a lot of off European shows, the dark humor in this is shining through, and I feel like some people are just missing you'll be like, that was a joke, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of the jokes may go over, I guess, in particular more American heads, I guess, for some of the European sided, I'm just like, I don't know if they anyway. The overall design of the world is fantastic. The combination between how good the thing is, the live action stuff, which is a lot of in this game, a lot of live action acted and shot stuff, that all looks phenomenal. It is all shot amazing. It looks like cinema quality, but then you also have the actual game, which looks phenomenal. Has amazing, everything from detail to lighting to everything. Like the overall production value of this game is insane. The music is fantastic. The story, of course, is insane and is just on a whole nother level of like diving into this world that they've been working on for years. And the psyche of Alan Wake, but it's also just so fucking weird. Like I feel like at times it's like you have to be like, how do you feel about Twin Peaks? Because or like some weird like David Lynchian type thing. Like, how do you feel about that sort of stuff? And if the answer is, I hate that shit, I don't know if Alan Wake's going to be for you because it's quite weird at times. But the gameplay itself is a lot of fun. The third person shooting is strong. The survival horror, even on normal difficulty, I'd say the survival horror stuff, like there was times where I was running out of bullets or completely run out of bullets and had to like sort of like barely escape a fight with minimal health and stuff like that. So it's definitely got that there. Maybe on easy, not so much of a case, but still. The boss fights, which there is a couple of in the game, are definitely a lot better than the boss fights in the first game. And I'm glad that there is only a couple of them when that makes sense, and it didn't feel like that every single chapter had to end with a boss fight just because that's video game design. It was like, they spread out and in there where it sort of makes sense. One of them I found a bit frustrating, but not because of the game, but because I was like, this fucking bitch has like insane aim. Like I just like get the fuck out of here. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, by the end I was just like, this game is phenomenal. I'm going to think about this game for a very long time. I can't wait. Like that's not even like getting into the fact that they released New Game Plus like a couple days after the Game Awards, and New Game Plus is and what that adds to the game, because I watched a like 45-minute video because I wouldn't have the time to play for it again. I watched a 45-minute video where someone got all the different scenes, and I just watched all that. I was like, it is insane how much detail they did for a New Game Plus, and how the New Game Plus also intertwines, I guess similar to Starfield but different, but like New Game Plus actually mechanically and thematically ties into the story and the way it plays out, and you get a completely different ending at the end of the game because of New Game Plus, and the fact that the game is built around Alan going through a loop, and that adds another like sort of loop to the story in a way that is really, really cool. Yeah, Alan Wake 2 is phenomenal. I can't wait to see more from Remedy. Number one game from ExplosionNetwork.com for 2023. Not something I can talk too much about because I haven't played a lot. I did still give it high points because, again, similar to what Kieran was talking about on a best of list, like I played enough to go, this is a really good fucking game, and I just never had more time to go play it. So I didn't make my personal list. If you listen to that,
but he's fucking gonna. He's fucking gonna. And then he's gonna retroactively
boot it up right
after
this.
Baldur's Gate 3, Explosion Network's number one game of 2023. Why is it the best game, Ash?
It is just such a ambitious game. There are an incredible amount of narrative thread put through this entire thing. There's so many incredible systems, such a beautiful love letter to Dungeons and Dragons and narrative storytelling. Bunch of really fascinating characters who are all heavily voice acted and obviously have a whole bunch of different branching directions they can all kind of go into. And yeah, just the options in this game are mind-boggling. In the way you can tackle them, what you can make, how you can talk to people, and then you've got that element of luck added on top that kind of throws an element of chaos into it, so that you can't guarantee every single time that something is going to play out the exact same way. Yeah, just the scale of it is crazy, especially in this day and age. And yeah, from this sort of team and this size of team, it is just crazy, really. Kieran?
I think it gets more and more impressive the more you hear them talk about it, and the more we get out of this game in terms of the background of it. I alluded to it, like the fact that I think Larian actually has a second studio set up in, I think it's Thailand or Singapore, and so when their European team stops working, the other team in the other time zone clocks on and starts working on the same stuff, and they pass it between each other. And it avoids crunch. It avoids a lot of the problems we see of so many other game devs, is that they have people being able to react to things quickly and be able to get on top of things quickly and work continually on it without running their staff into the ground. Baldur's Gate is the game. It should be the game that studios look up to, not just for RPG games, but I think for all games, because we've had so many instances over the years of developers and especially team leads and directors promising the world to gamers and promising the world to their fans of what they're going to get when the game comes out, and the games nearly always fall short. They never reach the expectation. They never kind of surmount to what was promised. Larian fucking did it. Everything you want, capturing the essence of what D&D is and this is a big thing I've always talked about when I bring people in to play D&D for the first time. It's like, okay, think about video games, but like not everything has to. And the thing that limits about video games is that everything has to be scripted. They have to write everything. Whereas D&D, you can think of absolutely anything you want to do and you can do it. Larian Studios fucking did that with Baldur's Gate. Sure, there are some restrictions in its systems, but what you can come up with in the world can happen. What you can stack 100 boxes on top of each other to climb over a wall of a castle. You can sneak into a goblin camp and layer out 100 explosive barrels and blow them up to kill everybody in the camp. The fact that there are so many different ways to play the game, there's so many different narrative storylines, there's so many different ways that you can explore. The fact, and something we haven't mentioned in our personal list, and I'm excited to show Dylan when he comes back and he's listening to right now, sat with us, is that multiplayer in this game is fucking amazing. Multiplayer is so good in this game because you're not tied together. If you want to fuck off and go complete your own little side quest by yourself, you are totally free to do that. If you want to play a Dark Urge run when your character is tempted to do a lot of bad things like ripping off characters' arms and stuff like that, you can go off and do that by yourself without telling anybody else in the party. You can experience things in the game at your own pace and at your own story. So much of this game has the ability to give you that freedom and give you exactly what you want and exactly what you need from it. I think exploring the various narratives, I think it has the strongest cast of characters out of any of these kind of RPGs where you have a whole side plot of different potential characters and friends. Like there are characters you run into that there's the old trope of, I really wish, I would have been able to recruit this person. There are so many NPCs that you wouldn't normally be able to recruit in Baldur's Gate that you can recruit. Like so many other games where you're like, fuck, okay, hey, stop what you're doing, come and help me, and they will come and join your party and they'll be in your camp to talk to. I think there are so many potential playthroughs that you could do that this game is like, okay, if anybody said to me, okay, what is the game that I like this style of games, if I want to buy one thing and get the most out of the game, because we get so much speculation these days about, I want to pay my $80, $100, whatever it is, and I want to get enough content.
The most value for money.
The most value in it, fucking Baldur's Gate is. You could replay this game for hundreds and hundreds of hours and get something new each time you play. It's fucking insane. Just the level of depth, the potential in this game. Ash, do you have like a favorite side character? Like maybe not your own Tav, but like a favorite character or storyline throughout it. Like probably Asterion is the go-to for
Asterion is the
go.
go-to, but I didn't really use him much because I was playing a rogue class.
Yes, same. I was playing a bard, and it's kind of very overlaps with him.
Yeah, so to me, Shadowheart has the most interesting arc of her story and of coming to terms with her own god and her religion and beliefs and that kind of stuff. Where she's very interesting. Like she starts the game kind of racist against what's her face, the Gith.
Yep.
And comes to accept that maybe she's been wrong in her ways and that kind of stuff. And her arc is, at least in my playthrough, really interesting. Yeah, it's cool kissing her.
For me, I think the most impressive for me is actually Karlach.
Karlach is also fantastic.
The latest added character. I don't know if she was in any of the beta at the end.
Really?
Like my first interaction with her was the first full release of this game, and she was incredibly interesting. The fact that she hadn't had the time that the other side characters had to tinker with them, play around with them, see what works, see what doesn't work, and to pull through and be an interesting character with a very interesting mechanical background in terms of the gameplay around her, the depth of her storyline. She just the level of all the characters I think is absolutely fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, that will do it. That is our best game of 2023 pick. We're our top 3 we went over. Of course, check out the full list on explosionnetwork.com. Check out all the other top 5s for the best video game covers that have been coming out this week. And if you've missed it, TV stuff was the week prior. Movie stuff is coming up next week as well. Arcade Couch back. Normally regularly scheduled in about 2 weeks, a week and a half, I guess, by the time this comes out. Week and a bit by the time this comes out. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we'll see you then. Goodbye.